Ladies and gentlemen, yes, the Baltimore Ravens are not beating the Buffalo Bills on Sunday evening. And it doesn't particularly have to do with me saying one team is better than the other, but one team's injuries are forcing them to completely switch up their identity as a team, which made them so dynamic in 2024. And spoiler alert, that team is not the Buffalo Bills. I ended up unpacking quite a bit of data showing what the Ravens look like when they are able to operate out of 12-man personnel. And in case some of you are unfamiliar with some of the X's and O's in football, 12-man personnel is typically when you operate off of two tight end sets, and 11-man personnel is when you have three wide receivers out there and only one tight end. And when I tell you that the differences are absolutely staggering between efficiency with the Baltimore Ravens offense with that particular mentality versus the other, I think all of the injuries in Baltimore, while fewer than Buffalo based off of injury reports, are a hell of a lot more impactful. So I'm excited to unpack all of that with you today. As many of you know, we understand some of the responsibilities of our family that we're building over here. As you come in, hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love on this channel. All right. And then also do not be shy. Roll call yourself in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. What corner of the United States, what corner of the globe are you watching from this morning? Always curious to see what Bills Mafia has to say. I need to give a giant shout out to some of our proud partners. And starting off with our good friend, William Mattar. Folks, if you are ever hurt in a car, you got to call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. I would never wish a car accident on absolutely anybody, but say that it does happen. It is very imperative that you guys have the right representation in your corner. So memorize that phone number on the screen, folks. Shout out to our good friend, William Mattar. And a bit of a personal announcement, folks. I have officially made it. All right. I have officially made it. I woke up this morning, and how about old QB1 followed me on Instagram? Shout out Jim Kelly. Shout out Jim Kelly. He follows like 200 people, followed by 200,000. Dude, it touches my heart. It touches my heart that QB1, legendary quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, has followed some Dan Mitchell situations. That's awesome. Shout out to Jim Kelly. Maybe I'll even see if I can get him on the show and talk a little Buffalo Bills football. Who knows? I've been working on a couple of former Bills players to come on this show already. I certainly have a special announcement coming up in about 2 to 3 weeks. We have somebody that a lot of us are familiar with. Not Jim Kelly yet, but I will keep you in the loop. Roll call in the chat, folks. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let's get into business. Okay? We have Savannah, Georgia is in the building. New York, stand up. Chattanooga is in the building. Dayton, Ohio. El Paso, Texas. You know it, Dan. What's going on? West Seneca, New York. Josh Allendale Road. Corey, what's going on, my friend? Hope all is well. North Tonawanda, Orchard Park is in the building. Hamburg is in the building. That's actually where I grew up for the most part. What did GB do this, man? What did Green Bay do? I don't know, man. Hell yeah. What's going on? North Carolina is in the building. What's up, Prison Mike? What's up, Dan? Congratulations. That's fire. Hell yeah. F the Ravens. It will be a special year. Buffalo, New York. We got Baltimore in the building. Toby is in the building. Buffalo, New York. How about them Cowboys? I know, right? Baltimore is in the building. Amarillo, Texas. Ballston Lake, New York. Glendale, Washington. Guys, do not be shy, man. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Virginia is in the building. Hurley, New York. Miami, Florida. Downtown, Buffalo, New York, Clemson, South Carolina. Jeffrey, I hope all is well with you, my friend. Miami Fins fan, Charlottesville, Virginia. Fredonia is in the building. Timothy's actually tuning in from X. You love to see that. But all right, guys. So I have been battling with this because we've seen two names in the Baltimore Ravens injury report all week long. And those two names are, of course, Isaiah Likely and Patrick Ricard. Some of you are probably going to be popping in here and saying, Dan, seriously, like this offense is going to look a lot different with tight end 2. I suppose you can make an argument that Likely is tight end 1 at this point, but bear with me for the sake of my argument. And then Patrick Ricard, their fullback. And yes, I will tell you, yes, I indeed believe that those two players being out of their offense completely switches up their identity, and they will be forced to operate out of an offensive system, which they don't often do, which they do not utilize based off of the overall offensive minded strategies that Todd Monken brings to the table. Now, Patrick Ricard and Isaiah Likely allow the Baltimore Ravens to operate out of 12-man personnel. 12-man personnel obviously being two tight ends, a fullback out there, and they also operate out of 21. And 21 obviously is when you have two running backs out there as well. That's why their run game is so efficient. Now, am I saying that they are not going to run 12 or 21 on Sunday? Sure, I suppose that they can. However, effectively running 12 and 21 largely is based off of the personnel executing it, right? So when Baltimore runs out of 12-man personnel, and this is based off of last year, they had an astounding 0.16 EPA. Best running offense in the NFL. And shout out to Buffalo for actually being number 2 in the NFL last year. Shout out to James Cook. Shout out to this offensive line. When Baltimore runs out of 12, they're dominant. Very difficult to stop. We saw it on week 3 last year. We saw it during the playoff game last year. But with Patrick Ricard and Isaiah Likely out, Baltimore is going to be asked to run out of 11-man personnel. 3 wide receivers, only 1 tight end. And I want to show you guys what this looks like. Let me go on ahead and I want to show you guys what this looks like once they end up shifting over to 11. Once the Baltimore Ravens end up shifting out of 11-man personnel, once these players are no longer on the field helping them out, they go from number 1 all the way down. All the way down. That's pass EPA, excuse me. All the way down to number 16. A significant drop-off from 0.16 EPA, and that's estimated points on average. It's a really good advanced analytic trait that typically ends up paying its dividends as far as being able to evaluate a team's overall success. They drop all the way to 16 at 0. So the way that I'm looking at this is perhaps Baltimore can go on ahead and they can attempt to force 12-man with their tight end 3 and they throw somebody random at the fullback position, or they end up accepting the fact and trust Lamar Jackson to really run out of 11-man personnel, which is not very good, as we can see, / attempt to attack whoever CB2 is for the Buffalo Bills. In my opinion, based off of all of the things that we've been hearing so far, it's going to be Dorian Strong. But half of the reason why the Baltimore Ravens were so effective in the pass game is due to the fact that they could run the football efficiently. It's football 101. So you establish the run, you establish play action, and you're going to be able to throw the football all over the field. What is that pass offense going to look like when they're not operating off of their favorite formation? And sure, like, we're going to be seeing some crazy scrambles from Lamar. He's going to make some plays. Trust me, he's going to. But I think this is a very big case where you're going to see the Baltimore Ravens struggling to establish rhythm, at the very least at the beginning of the game. And this opens up a world of possibilities for Buffalo. Man coverage, which was ran for about 48% of the game last year during the divisional, as Kevin ended up pointing out on the Bills roundtable last evening. This allows Buffalo to blitz 5-man rush, which was the strategy going into the playoff game last year, where you saw Buffalo cause a lot of pressure on Lamar, causing 2 turnovers. Like, this is the formula right here. Like, this is the formula. Well, we had the advantage of the weather in the frozen field last night. or last playoff game, now we have the advantage of being able to run man coverage, rush 5, hoping TJ Sanders, hoping Ed Oliver, hoping Daquan Jones can establish some interior pressure to take advantage of their guards opposite of Tyler Linderbaum. Like, this is very good, and I feel very, very good about this. And folks, I just want to come out and say this. I would be having an entire different conversation with you right now if, for example, Ricard and Likely were able to play. I'd probably say, yeah, dude, like, this is going to be a nail biter. I still think it's going to be a nail biter. But my confidence level in this team, based off of how I think Baltimore is going to be feeling very uncomfortable out there due to a massive switch up in the personnel that they need to run, is absolutely insane. It's absolutely crazy, man. Which is why I'm feeling more and more like a gambling man. More and more like a gambling man due to the fact that they're not going to be able to be running the crazy rush attack that we see from Baltimore by itself, which is exactly why when I'm sitting here looking at Sleeper, which is the number 1 player prop betting platform on the market today, by the way, matching 100% of your first deposit all the way up to $100. Right now, you can see that Derrick Henry has a line of about 81.5 yards on the ground. I am smashing the under on this one. Smashing the under. Now, me making a parlay and something that I think is an absolute steal, I think all of you need to take advantage of. They have James Cook. Hear me out. Less in over under of 10.5 receiving yards. If you do not take more on 10.5 receiving yards for James Cook, I have no idea what to tell you. Like, one of the biggest weaknesses for the Baltimore Ravens defense is stopping running backs in the receiving game. And the fact that that line's at 10.5, I'm smashing the hell out of this one. So when you look at this and just a 2-leg parlay, have Derrick Henry rushing for under 81.5 and have James Cook going over 10.5 receiving yards, simply just a $10 bet gets you $32. Say, for example, I wanted to do 20, sitting at about 60, and you can make as many legs as possible. Like, you're looking at about like X 1,000 payout potential. So you're going to want to go ahead and check all of that out. But let's make it work. We have Victor is coming in. It's important to set the pace in the AFC. I think the Chargers upset the Chiefs tonight, and Buffalo gets a win on a late Prater field goal. So I think we're sitting here and like we're talking about some final score predictions. For me, I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game because I do think that both offenses are going to come out rusty for at least a portion of the game. Because remember, both starters, or both sets of starters on both ends, lack of preseason reps. We saw Buffalo kind of start off a tad slow against Arizona last year during week 1. Same exact story for the Baltimore Ravens. I think they've scored 17 points or something like last year during week 1. So my final score prediction for the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens is 28-20. And 28 may even be generous. Because I do think that while Buffalo has a couple of weaknesses they can take advantage of, still think the defense is going to be smothering. Target Jair Alexander. He's probably going to be playing out there. He's coming off of a knee injury. You take advantage of that, especially since he's had a lack of reps for a little bit. I'm hoping that Keon Coleman is ready to go. I sincerely am. But here we are. I feel a Rams-like game from last year, but hopefully we win. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Dan, in my opinion, and so the Ravens are coming to our house to try and ground and pound the rock with Henry, in my opinion. I hope Deion Walker has a game and he becomes the steal from the draft. So the thing is, yes, I do think that Derrick Henry is going to get his carries, but nowhere near as much as he would have if Ricard and the exact same thing with Isaiah Likely. Say that both of them were on the field, then for sure. I think that they probably would have relied on Derrick Henry early and often. so that they could establish some type of momentum. But I'm telling you now, I think that they're completely shifting their game plan going into Sunday. In fact, I have a feeling that Keaton Mitchell is probably going to be a bit more of their game plan than Derek is. They are really going to have to lean into the pass game. Because say that they try to go out of 12 and try to run the football out of that way, I just don't really see it being effective for them. Flowers and Bateman are no joke. D needs to show up. So with Flowers, I do feel pretty good about Taron Johnson being on him. He's one of the best slot corners in the NFL. Flowers is obviously going to make some plays, but as long as we limit him, that's fine. And Benford is more than likely going to be on Bateman or whoever tends to be the hottest wide receiver out there between him or a 34-year-old Hopkins. So who knows at that point? Who knows at that point? We have Peter is coming in saying no shot that Derrick Henry is in the under. Well, hey, man, you know what? A beautiful thing about it is, say, for example, that you want to fade me on that tail. Feel free to download Sleeper, man. Link is in description. Link is in description, and go on ahead and put your money down on the over on Derrick Henry. But so I sit back and I look at Derrick Henry's career versus Buffalo, and outside of 2 games, and there's been 7 matchups, they've kept him under 80 yards. So it's close. It's close. Like last playoff game, I'm pretty sure he went for about 82 or 83, something along those lines. So it's close. But say that you're confident he's going to go on ahead and crack that than that number. So you put that cash down, baby, and make it happen. Bills fans are the definition of crackheads living in the Los Angeles streets. There is no personal attacks here in the chat. I am giving you one warning, and then I'm going to have the mods ban you if you do that again. I'm completely fine with you coming in here and hanging out, but no personal attacks to anybody in the chat, guys. We're talking football here. Say, for example, that there's something that you disagree with. I'm completely fine with that. I'm not personally attacking you, and I expect you not to be personally attacking anybody in here. So the defense is trash. I'm putting money on the Ravens winning with ease. How much, Rob? How much? It's a ticket or it didn't happen. It's a ticket or it didn't happen. How CeeDee Lamb sell ass like that? I had them for the upset. So did I. So did I. When I saw Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott, I knew the game was going to be close. And CeeDee Lamb had a hell of a game, right? Like well over 100 receiving yards, 7 receptions, and he had 3 insane drops. One pass toward the end of the game was a drop in the bucket from Dak Prescott. An absolute drop in the bucket, and he couldn't come down with it. That was the issue right there. Big Daddy D's in the building. Maybe I missed it, but Dan, are there any thoughts on Franklin and Prater? Thank you. Franklin's a special teams ace. So we should be very pleased with the fact that he has been added to this roster, right? He's super physical. He's great in coverage. I would not be surprised if we experience some sort of injury in the safety room that his number would be called and he would actually probably play pretty well. But a special teams ace, man. He's super athletic. So we ended up seeing one punt attempt last year where he was able, like, dude, great special teams addition. Let's see what this unit looks like going into the season. So the McCaffrey news sucks. I knew his injury could be a problem, but week 1, man, after I placed some bets for this MF to get a touchdown, the gods in Vegas were against me. So he is limited. And so I can tell you what, I stay away from the upper echelon type running backs. Say that a running back has an absolutely incredible season the year before, I typically stay away from them in fantasy football. Because number one, I'm afraid of injuries and workload. Because you're really rolling the dice when you see a running back coming off of being an RB1 in fantasy football. His carries are through the roof. And you are just playing with fire that they are going to be able to do that again the following season without him like sustaining some sort of injury. Hence why I stayed away from Christian McCaffrey last year. And I am so glad I stayed away from him this year as well. But I am so sorry about that, man. So sorry about that. What's up, Dan? Watching in study hall right now. Garrett, what's going on, man? Study up, my friends. School is important. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school, kids. We got Nick 716. I think both teams' run games goes through both quarterbacks. Cook and Henry go under 70 yards each. So the team that can utilize their running back in the pass game more efficiently should win. That's a great take. Because when I look at this Baltimore Ravens defense, there are two things that they are not good at on the defensive side of the football. And that is stopping running backs in the receiving game, and that is stopping tight ends. So say that it were up to me and say that I had to predict anything when it came into the final box score with most efficient weapons on this team, or the weapons on this offense that leave with the most receiving yards, I'm willing to bet that number one is either going to be a running back or a tight end, because that's a weakness I think that they need to exploit. Now, I'm not too keen. I'm not too confident in Khalil, who is coming off of a high ankle sprain, and he's going to be going up against Marlon Humphreys. Don't like that matchup at all. Don't like that one bit. But I do like Joshua Palmer versus Nate Wiggins. Love that matchup. I think that we would be able to take advantage of that one. And really, whoever is going up against Jair Alexander. Like my buddy Kevin said yesterday on the Bills Roundtable, with Alexander, he's been getting his knee drained all off season. So while he might play, you expecting him to be the true 100%. So Alexander, who hasn't played a full season in 3 seasons. Yeah, there's no way there. Hey, Dan, I love the channel, but I got to say, me and wifey were questioning when you thought Dallas would win, if you recall. Well, so I wouldn't question it too much, David, because one thing I can tell you is that they sure kept it close, right? We are talking about maybe one less drop from CeeDee Lamb, and we could have been having an entire different conversation. One thing I was talking about with Dallas this morning is that I don't feel like Dallas fans should be concerned about this year. As long as Dak stays healthy, that offense looks good. Having Pickens out on the field opened up CeeDee Lamb so much on tape. And I got to tell you what, they even ended up making adjustments based off of the loss of Micah Parsons. Holding Saquon Barkley to 60 yards last night, that's a significant improvement from what their run defense was last year. So I'm super confident that Dallas is a playoff team this year. Now, what's Dallas going to do in the playoffs? I'm not putting any money on Dallas to do much of anything in the playoffs. However, as far as getting there, I really liked what I saw from the Cowboys. And it goes to show you how important Jalen Carter is to the defense over in Philadelphia as well, because they just did not look like the Philadelphia Eagles that just won the Super Bowl. Dak was trying to justify being the antagonizer, not justifying Carter's response, but are Georgia Bulldogs really that disciplined? It's the Georgia Bulldogs, man. Listen, I've been rooting for the Bulldogs for a while, and that's just how it is. Rob, even if the Bills weren't good, there is never a zero shot for a team to win. Dude, listen, I love the confidence level. I love the confidence from everybody coming in here. Obviously, we want our teams to win the ball game, right? And I'm not pulling this out of my ass, guys. Look, say that Isaiah Likely and Patrick Ricard were healthy, I likely would have picked the Ravens to win this game. And so I would have. And that's a big truth. I promise you, I would have been looking you in the eye and I would have said, Buffalo is probably going to lose this game 31-29 or something along those lines. But I don't think Ravens fans and I don't think Bills fans that are a bit more pessimistic are really putting enough worry right into them missing those two pieces. Because when you look at Lamar and you look at Derrick Henry, that is at least the public-facing staples to that offense. But Ricard and Isaiah Likely, as far as their identity, are number 3 and number 4 for me. It's more of a utility piece. It's something that completes their offensive identity. And without those two players, Like, you're going to be asking Baltimore to do something that they did the least out of any team in the NFL last year, and that's run 11-man personnel. Like, they very rarely ran 11-man personnel last year. And why would you? Like, with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely as two tight ends. You want two tight ends out in the field because it does so much for your run game. And you want Patrick Ricard out there on the field for you. He's basically an offensive lineman. Like, that's why, like, you're seeing all of these running backs in Baltimore go off each and every single game. Like, their system is completely broken, right? Ian is coming in. Dan, and do you not think your D is too injured and experienced at this point to win on Sunday night? No, so I wouldn't even say that, man, right? Because, like, how I look at this defense, sure, do we have a hole? For sure, and that's CB2. Like, I would have loved Max Harrison to be out there on week 1. And I would have loved Trey White to be. I am not convinced Trey White's going to play. And even if Trey White is playing, I still think that's a weakness, right? Like, he's coming off of a groin injury. I don't think he'd be anywhere near 100%. But so I look at how our defense is made up with, right? Like, we have both of our starting linebackers who are healthy, who had great preseasons, Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard, wonderful against the run, same exact thing in coverage. You have Christian Benford, who is one of the best CB1s in the NFL. You have Taron Johnson, one of the best slot corners in the NFL. You have Taylor Rapp, who is a very good safety. He's slept on, and he covers a lot of ground. You're going to be putting Cole Bishop in the box. I wouldn't be surprised if he is the 5th man rushing. And Buffalo has all of the key pieces where they will be able to operate out of man coverage. That's why Buffalo's defense did so well versus Baltimore toward the first half of the game. I have been saying this, and I will continue to say this. As long as Buffalo forces 4 punts from the Baltimore Ravens, we win this game. And I genuinely believe that we will. Ants Pants is coming in. I could see it being a close game, but the people saying it's a guaranteed Ravens win are just absolutely crazy. Well, folks, really at the end of the day, I think that they had that exact same energy during the playoffs as well. We have Carter is suspended for week 2 versus the Chiefs. I haven't seen that. Is that true? Let me see. Spitting on Dak Prescott. Let's see. Herbst had a discussion with Jalen Carter after his ejection. He said the two are on the same page, and the incident is something everyone can learn from. Hey, dude, as long as they ended up making it happen, we're going to see. Hey, Dan, I'm just asking if you recall when you said you thought the Cowboys, yeah, that was it. I'm not concerned about the Cowboys this year, man. I thought that they looked really good. And realistically, like, just one less drop from CeeDee Lamb. He had 3 key drops. If he were to haul in one of those passes, I think Dallas would have won that game last night. Spidey, yeah, I kept bringing it up all game about him doing that. I just feel like that's on a whole other level. Would have rather him throw hands than spit on the man. That's funny, too, because I'm not even entirely convinced that he would have been ejected if he were to throw hands, right? Or like do like a slap or something. Like, y'all saw that Dallas Cowboys left tackle Tyler Guyton throw a left hook like last night. Like, those two teams hate each other, man. Those two teams hate each other. Like, more than I think I've seen in quite some times. Ravens also did not have the receivers last year to go 3 wide outs. For sure. But so I look at it this way, right? They're very inexperienced with that model, right? But hey, so like I said, super athletic team, solid wide receivers. Say that they can do all of that and be effective in the pass game. I just feel like that this team is going to be predictable. Them not being able to run on a 12-man personnel really gives the game script and makes this team predictable. Something I think McDermott's going to take advantage of. Hard take, or a hot take, I am assuming, the Chargers will beat the Chiefs tonight. That is indeed a hot take. I am always hesitant of picking against the Kansas City Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning, but I would be thrilled if the Kansas City Chiefs lost, as I'm sure the Ravens fans would be thrilled as well. That's something Ravens fans and us can agree on. Screw the Chiefs. Screw the Kansas City Chiefs. I think all of us can agree with that. Dan is wishing and hoping just like me. Look, man, listen, I am very confident about this game. I really am. It's clear the Bills are the better team. Bills are a more consistent team. Ravens chokes too much and not reliable enough. Solid regular season game, though. Rod is coming in. Yeah, I miss Rap with the Rams. He was a good player. Shout out Rams fans in here. That's absolutely awesome. All right, guys, listen, we have 195 of you on YouTube. Let's pump this up to 195 like buttons. We are trying to build one of the largest Bills communities on the internet in the mornings as we unpack everything Buffalo Bills related. Hit that thumbs up sign for me. It's the easiest way to show a little bit of love. And roll call in the chat as well. We have a lot of people in here now. How many of you, where are you located in the United States? I am curious. George, Ian, you up. Okay. Look at that. We have Light of Truth. Dan, on what you said about the Ravens not having 12 man, this game is going to be won or lost in the trenches. If the Bills can do to the Ravens what Philly did to Kansas City in the Super Bowl, Bills front four dominate. The Buffalo Bills win. And here's something which is interesting. What does PFF know? What does PFF know that we don't, right? Because say that we're having these conversations, who are the starting defensive tackles? Like, who is going to be dominating snaps as far as the interior of the defensive line? Let me tell you exactly who it would be. Like, we would think Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver, right? Yesterday, when I pulled up PFF, we saw TJ Sanders, and we also ended up seeing Ed Oliver next to each other. I wonder if we're going to be rolling out with that formation more than we think. I don't know. Still can't believe people are saying that they would pick Lamar over Allen, right? That's what I'm talking about. I think we're going to blow them out, to be honest. I love that energy. I don't think we're going to blow them out, and I don't think that they're going to blow us out. And so I think it's going to be decided by less than a touchdown. It's not going to be like a double-digit point differential. Dan, I need you to check Discord when your show is over. It is very important. I got you, man. I got you. Anthony is saying, still can't believe people are saying that they would pick Lamar over Allen. We have London, UK is in the building. Toronto is in the building. We have Maryland in the building. Guys, do not be shy. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love for them to put Deion Walker in there and eat up that line. I could see him probably about 20 to 30% of the snap share, but that's a different conversation. Ravens are now favored by 1.5. I did see that. Jared, what's up, Dan in Arkansas? My parents are going to be at the first game. Jared, you are the man. Ravens by 1 million. No personal attacks. Chill it out. Bring it down a node, please. Yeah, guys, listen, I'm fine with people coming in here and talking football, but no personal attacks to anybody, or you will be put in timeout. We have Herbo. Lamar hasn't lost by more than 7 points in the last 57 starts. That's including the playoffs. Yeah, most definitely, man. Nobody in here is suggesting this is going to be a blowout. I was able to get it when the line was even. Now the Ravens are favored. Look at that. Anyway, it's game one. No major concern to either team who loses. Enjoy the game, guys. Best of luck into the season. Bakersfield, California is in the building. As a fan of Ohio State, I really want Bosa to pop off. I think there's some favorable matchups out there. I think people are underestimating Charlie Kohler. We might miss, so the receiving of likely, but Kohler is an amazing blocker. Yeah, for sure, man. Like I said, I think that Baltimore could still try and force 12-man personnel, but what's he going to look like in regulation, right? Especially against the Buffalo Bills defense, which is like relatively seasoned and healthy, right? So I'm curious. Like maybe they still try to force 12-man personnel. I just have a feeling that their bread and butter is going to have to be 11. Say, for example, that the Bills end up doing some things we could see. So I'm excited for the Rams defense front this season, and they added Poona Ford. Should be nice. Man, Poona Ford, man. He was a Bill for a spell, and he decided to pop off once he left the Buffalo Bills. Portsmouth, Virginia is in the building. I still maintain Bills win 35-28. I also am convinced that the addition of the Bills has the potential to be the only second team in NFL history to have a perfect season, 17-0. Ooh, man, I love that, Herbo. And so I support you, though, Dan. You keep it honest across the board coming from a Ravens fan. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. It's not going to be a blowout, right? Like, so while I think that, like, y'all have your share of weaknesses based off of those injuries, feel like the Bills like have, and so a massive weakness too. Like we're rolling out there with a Madden generated player as CB2. We have a second round safety in Cole Bishop, right? That has not been good in coverage. I suppose he looked good in practice. And of course, that's coming from our defensive coordinator. But how much can we really buy into that? Like last year, like we were one of the worst third down defenses in the NFL. Sure, we signed all these guys, but we're not going to know what they look like. So we're not going to know what they look like until week 1. So trust me, we have our share of weaknesses as well. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be one of those games where we're all sweating, pacing back and forth. It's probably going to be a heart attack game. That's just kind of where it is. We have Jared is coming in. I think Lamar will struggle against our new defensive, especially Joey Bosa. It's tough to bring him down, though. It's tough to bring him down. I would love a couple of sacks. Trust me. Say that we can go out there and sack him 3 to 4 times. I'm going to be celebrating like you have never seen, but it's a hell of a lot easier said than done. Hamlin is going to shut down Baltimore. He's not even starting, Axel. You are the biggest Damar Hamlin fan on the face of the planet. I can appreciate that. Bosa, yeah, enjoy him while you can until he gets injured again. Both me and my fantasy opponents have Ravens and Bills players stacking our teams. High-scoring game would be great. The Buffalo Bills win, though. I like that. This will be my 11th game in 5 seasons, and they've won the first 10. Go Bills. So it sounds like a good luck charm is going to be in the stands on Sunday night. Joe, I hope that your record continues for all of our sakes. We have Baltimore is beating the Buffalo Bills. We'll see, man. That's why the good Lord makes us play the football games, right? So we can have all of these answers. Regardless of who loses this game, doesn't change anything. Both of these teams are in the playoffs. Maybe, I suppose you could say it has some sort of 1-seed implication, but I'm not even so much buying into that. So regardless, both teams are winning their division. Both teams are going into the playoffs. I feel like this game is more so for bragging rights than anything, if you were to ask me. Aren't we always bad on third down? Not just last year. It feels like tradition of stress. Yeah, dude, like a frustrating part about this game and this team is that like we have adopted the bend but not break defense. I hate that mentality. I hate it. It's absolutely disgusting. Hopefully we solved it. Hopefully we did. From middle of nowhere, South Dakota, is there any divisional rival games you're keeping an eye on this weekend? 49ers and Seahawks are going to be interesting, especially since Christian McCaffrey has once again been put on the injury report as a limited participant with a calf injury. And that's something that plagued his year last year. I'm trying to think of like some other ones. Browns and Bengals is interesting to me as well. I have a feeling that game's going to be closer than people are willing to admit. Browns and Bengals will be close. So I'm not saying the Browns are going to win, but I am saying it's going to be a close game. Kentucky, BBN for L. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Nobody even remembers Joey Bosa going to the Buffalo Bills anyway. We have Ian 17 because he's just not that important. Speaking on bragging rights, you think Cleveland will lose, bro? No, not at all. Not at all. And me and Dwayne have a bet, and I'm going to win because I have a feeling that the Cleveland Browns, that their defense is going to cause significant problems for the Bengals on week 1. Dan the Man, is Keon playing? It says he's questionable. We're going to have to see. Yeah, man, we're going to have to see. He was listed as limited back-to-back days with a groin injury. When did this injury occur? I don't know. But what I probably will do is I'll probably end up having the thigh doc on later this afternoon to unpack the injury report and sort of get his take on whether or not a player is going to be playing. James Cook is going to go off. I cannot wait. Hopefully in the receiving game. I don't think it matters who's favored. Both teams are good. The turnover edge will dictate who wins. I live in Maryland, but always in Bills country. Go Bills. I love to see that. Dan already started no trolling on your... Oh. State of no trolling, or you're in timeout. Ian17. He's in timeout, man. He's in timeout, dude. He's probably in timeout in real life right now. You know what I mean? He's probably on his phone too much during coloring hour in 3rd grade. But that's okay. I absolutely hate the Dolphins, but I can very well see them being the only team in the division winning week 1. Don't sleep on the Colts, bro. Don't sleep on the oh man. I hope the Colts beat them. I hope they do. If Bills lose and people come in here next week running their mouths, I might have to be put in timeout. Let's figure it out. We have Matthew Preeb. Until McDermott can figure out how to have a great pass rush, I don't see the Bills making it to the Super Bowl. So the op offense will score 31 points per game in the playoffs. Well, again, like I said, that's why we play the game, right? So we can get answers. Like on paper, like we've addressed all of our, of course, pass rush issues, right? Like we brought in Hoyt and we brought in Ogunjobi, who's suspended, I know. We drafted 2 pass rushing defensive tackles. We brought in Bosa. So it sounds like that this front office has put it as number 1 priority to improve the line. Let's see what it looks like on Sunday. It is a game of we need to figure this out. Do you think Bass will start? I don't know. I feel like I'm more comfortable with Matt Prater, to be completely honest with you, especially since Bass has been so inconsistently healthy. But we'll see. Thank God. Having a phone in 3rd grade is crazy. Dude, surprisingly enough, my 4-year-old nephew has a phone. I swear to you. It's young nowadays. It's just how it is. Well, the Bills gives us washed up Diggs. I hope the Colts win. Me too. 31 points per game allowed in the playoffs would be an improvement compared to 33 points per game we allow versus the Chiefs. David, and does anyone in the chat know where I can find a metal Bills bracelet like for men, only found so the handmade ones from yarn? Don't know, man. I don't know. No, I'm not asking for punishment. Oh my God. What the heck? LOL. We should claim week game Gabe Davis. Do it. So I didn't get a Nokia brick until I was 13. Dude, my first phone was a Razor. Like, who remembers the Razors? The Motorola Razors, bro. That was my first one. Bengals suck, vastly overrated, did 0 to improve their defense. Wow, that's tough. I checked Etsy and I can't find anything. All right, folks, that's gonna have to do it. We're gonna ban this kid. Yeah, we're gonna ban this kid. I'm not babysitting anymore. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Dom Mafia Report. I am live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST. I'm probably going to be live a bit later this afternoon as well to unpack the injury report with Thigh Doc. And then perhaps I'll be live sometime Sunday morning or maybe even Saturday too. It's game week. We're going to be talking some football here. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I will go on ahead and I will probably open up the Garage Beer hotline on my next stream as well. But I am going to go take a walk on this beautiful day in Florida. And y'all let me know if you need anything. Love y'all very much, and we'll see you soon. Yeah, Dwayne, I got you.